What are next?
What are next?
What are next?
All right, out with the old, in with the new. 2024 is over, and it is time to talk about some of the most anticipated metal albums of 2025. So let's start with some death metal here. Now, 2024 was a huge year for death metal. Not as much news coming in yet as far as what 2025 has to offer, but we do have some heavy hitters here, including Obscura with a Sonication. Big fan of this progressive death metal band. This one is coming out February 7th. I've enjoyed pretty much everything they've put out, so I'm looking forward to this one. Also, a pretty good chance we're going to get a new Cytotoxin. Just totally disgusting, brutal, technical stuff. Big fan of these guys as well. They've got this whole kind of like nuclear meltdown vibe going on. Maybe we'll also finally get those long-promised albums from Morbid Angel and Gorguts, among others. Unleashed is also working on something that should come out in 2025. And then a little bit of a smaller name here, but we've got Fleshbore with Painted Paradise. This one is going to kick the year off pretty strong, potentially, January 24th. There's actually quite a few kind of smaller group stuff coming out in January that I'm already sampling, but I want to stick to some of the stuff that really pops, the stuff that the audience really wants to hear about. Moving into melodic death metal, though, we have the Halo Effect with March of the Unheard. This one also coming out in January on the 10th. Very much looking forward to this one as a big Dark Tranquillity fan. If you didn't already know, this is kind of a mashup of the vocalist from Dark Tranquillity with old members of In Flames. For an awesome combo, too. I haven't been as impressed with the singles this time around. I really loved the debut, so I'll be interested to see how this turns out. Could go either way. And we also have a new arch enemy with Blood Dynasty. This one coming out at the end of the first quarter at March 25th. I really enjoyed the direction Arch Enemy went with the last album. I think since Elisa has joined, this is like the best they've come into their own with their own sound. Before, it felt sort of like the Angela Gossow era light, and they were just like trying to keep doing that. But now that they've implemented her kind of more almost like power metal level vocals into it, I just think it works really well for her. There's also Serenity and Murder with Timeless Reverie. February 28th, we're getting the new album from this incredibly underrated band. One of my favorite bands out of Japan. You don't find them talked about in many places. It's hard to even get a hold of their music, especially physical copies, but man, as far as melodic death metal goes, these guys are a must listen, and I can't say enough good things about them. Let's move on to black metal. We got some good stuff coming here. First off, Harakiri for the Sky with Scorched Earth. January 24th for this atmospheric black metal band. Enjoy their stuff. It can be a little long-winded sometimes, so we'll see. I actually already have this one in my inbox, so I'll be listening to it real soon. I'm also hearing we may get a new Blackbraid record. That would be really sick. Very much enjoyed the last one. We've also got Scour with Gold. February 21st for this Phil Anselmo fronted project. This will be, I believe, their second record. Tell me if I'm wrong on that. I could be totally wrong. Kind of black and like grind is the vibe I get from them. It's hard for me to just call this black metal, but that's probably the closest label for it. Maybe some new Cradle of Filth. I'm kind of a fan at this point if bands take a little bit longer in the album cycle. Less can be more, quality over quantity. But hey, I have enjoyed all these new Cradle records. They've been some of my favorites. I've also got Seor dropping Amidst the Ruins. This Scottish band dropping their album on February 7th, and I've enjoyed their previous stuff as well for more kind of atmospheric, very epic, just soaring sounds. But what I'm definitely most hyped to hear in 2025 in terms of black metal is Imperial Triumphant with Gold Star. This deeply jazz-influenced Art Deco-style mask-wearing troupe is incredible. Like, just one of the best things happening in the genre right now with their incredible technical side and just dynamic songwriting and the way they just capture the spirit of like walking alone in New York City at night in the cold. Love it. Can't wait to hear it. Just, I'm going to eat that one up. And then supposedly we might also get some new Vector. Probably some mixed feelings out there about that one, but that is a nice transition into thrash metal. And it is gearing up to be a pretty solid year for thrash. I feel like 2024 was a little bit lighter. There were some big releases here and there, but we've got some big names potentially coming out with stuff. First off, we have Destruction with Birth of Malice.
It felt like a crime, setting the world ablaze.
As of the time of recording, this is the only fully announced album on this list, coming out March 7th. Very much enjoy me some German thrash, so looking forward to that. And another one where I really enjoyed the last record. I actually think it's one of their best, which is unpopular opinion. By the way, I will probably be doing tier lists for almost every band on the thrash end of this list. Speaking of which, that new Testament album is hopefully finally going to come out. I thought it was going to come out in 2024, but who knows at this point. Also on this list, not fully announced, but likely, we got Sodom, looking forward to that one, Dark Angel, Death Angel, Exodus, and Anthrax. And I'm actually looking forward to Anthrax because I can finally fill out my final band from the Big Four that I have not tier listed their discography for yet. I already have my notes ready. Another late addition to the video, Cryptosis announced Celestial Death. Bionic Swarm was one of my surprise picks out of nowhere for the best of 2021, and my hype for the follow-up from this progressive sci-fi thrash band is so high. The single seems to also have more than a little black metal influence, so it'll be interesting to see where the rest of the album goes. This one comes out on March 7th. Alright, moving on though, and I know this isn't always a popular topic, but bear with me, there are some banger names on this list. It seems like it's going to be a big year if you like metalcore.
Wait, don't all leave!
Kicking things off with a smaller name that I think might appeal to even some people who don't generally like the genre. We got Great American Ghost with Tragedy of the Commons. Been a big proponent of this band. This album is coming out January 31st, and man, they always go hard, super just like nihilistic, angry, pissed off sounding stuff, okay? Another smaller name on the more melodic side, we got Bury Tomorrow with Will You Haunt Me with that same patience. Another band I've been trying to scream from the rooftops as much as I can because they don't have nearly as much exposure as some of the other bands we're going to get to here. But man, like just really solid stuff. I love the new vocalists they took on with the last album, so this should be a good one. Getting into those bigger names though, we have Killswitch Engage with This Consequence. Been a minute since we got one from them. I really loved the previous album from these guys as well. I just think they're still like one of those bands that are still on top of their game. And in this kind of like post-gent world that we find ourselves in, it's just nice to hear these old school like 2000s bands just doing their thing, still bringing that sound. I didn't love the single, but we'll have to see. Anyways, Underoath also seemingly putting out a new album. They put out some singles. They've been pretty solid. There was one I didn't care for as much. We also probably getting a new one from All That Remains. No album title, but we do have some singles. They're okay, all right? I love their like first two major albums, but yeah, the rest of it, it's a little bit hit or miss. The last one was decent. It was on the better side. We'll see. Looking more forward to, though, probably new After the Burial. Big fan of them. Not as big a fan of Memphis May Fire, but they have an album called Shapeshifter.
They like to save our head up, they've in the dark. A picture perfect people, please, or that's just a start.
That comes out on March 28th. The one thing that makes me intrigued about it is the single is super heavy. I have not liked their sound. They've been more kind of on the octane core side of things lately. Pretty cheesy, maybe in a little cringe, but the new single, if they go super heavy on this new album, I'll be interested again. Heard we might be getting a new Bullet for My Valentine, but we are also definitely getting a new Bleeding Through with 9. Another band I go way back with, I've told the story many times of how I was at Hot Topic and I had to choose between This Is Love, This Is Murderous, and Frail Words Collapse from As I Lay Dying. And I always forget which one I actually bought. I think it was Frail Words, and then I came back and got this one. But man, it's kind of a guilty pleasure band in a way, because I do think they're a little corny, a little cringe, a little try-hard sometimes, but they're just so... They go so hard, and the vocalist is just this beast of a man. So it just, kind of like the Dillinger Escape Plan, it just makes you want to put your face through the drywall. Moving into more modern era, we have Architects with The Sky, the Earth, and All Between. This one coming out on February 28th. I have a pretty deep history, I would say, with Architects on the channel at this point. I absolutely love their early stuff, but the newer stuff, not so much. I don't think it's like awful. It's not like the worst thing ever, but hasn't been great. And it's been turning into like quantity over quality too. I kind of wish they'd slow things down and tighten things up. New single was decent, better than the singles that started the last album cycle, I feel like. So I'm always open-minded. Maybe they'll put something out that I actually like again.
I'll look not so good.
More modern darlings here. We have Spiritbox with Tsunami Sea. March 7th for this one, and I am looking forward to it. I thought that Eternal Blue was pretty overrated. Every time I go back to it, I kind of like it a little bit less. There's some huge singles on there that I absolutely adore, and I have enjoyed the new EPs too, so I feel like it's been kind of improving. So I'm hoping that this second full length is tighter. Like, song for song, it goes harder. It's more of a front to back listen. Also hearing we may finally get a new Loathe album, hopefully a proper one. I absolutely adore these guys with their weird fusion of kind of metalcore with Deftones. Also hear the Callous Dowboys are maybe cooking something up, which is like my favorite mathcore band of present day at this point. It also looks like we're getting a new album from Shadows Fall. Now this is the song that actually inspired some reshoots on this video. I was done, had it finished, edited, and then the day after they dropped single Into the Gray. Now I just went through the discography to take notes, and this seems very promising. Really dig the new song, so, well, new Shadows Fall. And then the thing though that I am most hyped for, but it could let me down because it's been a long time coming. We are supposed to get new music from Poison the Well. For the longest time they said it was never going to happen. I even interviewed Chris, the drummer, years ago, and he assured me multiple times that they may reunite live, but they will never make a new album, and it seems like they're finally going to do it. Moving on to Deathcore, we got some good stuff here. We got Paleface with Cursed.
My blood's on your fucking hands!
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Another one kicking in the door for the new year, January 3rd for this one, and yeah, Pissed Off Stuff. Another band that's like kind of on the, I should probably add them to like, if I do another cringe scale, they probably belong on there because they're a little cringy, but I put them in the cringe but fun category. Also banger Denmark Deathcore crew, Cabal with Everything Rots. April 11th for this one, so moving into the second quarter, but it'll be worth the wait. I'm pretty sure I have enjoyed all of their stuff. Another kind of name that runs under the radar, but I try to put out there as often as possible. If you like deathcore, you should check out Cabal. Looks like a new Born of Osiris album on the way. I don't think there's been a full announcement yet, but we did get that single. Same goes for Within Destruction. I know people's opinions on these guys are kind of mixed at this point because they went from being this like slam deathcore powerhouse, which I loved that, to more of this kind of like melodic metalcore, or even sometimes like new metal elements and sense of humor mixed in there too, which I also enjoy. Like I'm here for all of it, but I get it if people kind of jumped off the train at some point. I did really like Yokai. Big heavy hitter here, Whitechapel coming back. And based on the single, like, maybe we'll go heavy again. I don't know. Maybe it'll be a mixture, but goddamn, that single is so hard. So heavy. I was pretty stoked for that. I haven't really cared about Whitechapel in some time. I know some people have just been like glowing over the new directions they've gone. I've been kind of like, it's fine, I guess. But this is more my speed. Throwing another smaller name here with Get the Shot, but I've been hearing more and more people talk about them, so get that hype going. And then also maybe new Shadow of Intent, which I am definitely here for. I know I infamously included their last album on my most like overrated and disappointing albums of 2020. Was that 2023? 2022? I don't know. Time is a flat circle. Shadow of Intent, great band. Looking forward to hear more. Hope I like this one more than Elegy. Little groove metal detour here. We've got Ginger with Duel. February 7th for this one, I will be redoing the tier list. I haven't loved everything that they've done. Wallflowers was another album that I kind of said was decent. I gave it a good grade, but like the fans were not happy. We didn't do a Toxic Fans tier list for once, which was our annual tradition. But the good news is that we didn't do one was because like there weren't big explosions of Toxic Fans, really. The worst I got were from Black Sabbath people and Linkin Park people.
Shocking.
Ginger historically has been another one of those fan bases, Spiritbox sometimes too, but sometimes it seems like the fan base grows out of that, so hoping that happens again. New Soulfly album, hopefully incoming. And I saw that Max says he wants to go back to the tribal groove origins of the band, which I would be so happy for, because as much as I enjoyed the just pure groove metal attitude of the last album, the first two are still by far my favorites, and a lot of it comes down to all that tribal drumming and chanting and all that stuff. And then I feel like we gotta get a new Gojira. Like, that would be stupid not to do it. Riding high on this whole Olympics thing, they've got the most fans' eyes on them of all time. It would be so stupid to not release a new album at this point. And then getting into some kind of like mixed stuff that didn't all fit into nice categories separately. We got Deftones probably gonna put out a new album. One of my favorite bands to this day. Love him or hate him, I dig their stuff. I thought Ohms was great, so we'll see what happens with this one. Lacuna Coil putting out Sleepless Imperial. I don't know if I said that name right, but I'm not going to do another take. February 14th for that one. Never been a big Lacuna Coil fan, but I am all about like just trying new stuff and seeing if it sticks this time around with this channel. New Down record coming. Another band I never really loved. Like, I love Pantera, but I just never really got into Down. A little slow for me, but hey, definitely will give it a shot. And then I am always down for new Coheed and Cambria. They are dropping The Father of Make Believe. Probably my favorite, like, modern prog rock, sometimes metal-ish, metal-adjacent crew. That's coming out March 14th. Also looking forward to Mantar with Post-Apocalyptic Depression. That's coming out February 14th. Love these guys in terms of their kind of like mashing of sludge with sort of like 90s rock and grunge and just pure attitude. I saw them live, and just as a duo, I feel like that's the closest I could have come to like seeing Helmet perform in the 90s. There's also a new Pentagram incoming on January 21st. The Great Old Ones on January 24th. The other big one here that I will also be redoing my tier list for, God help me, this is another one of those toxic fandoms sometimes, but yeah, it's Dream Theater with Parasomnia. Yeah, that's coming out February 7th. Didn't love the single, but famously I said that I thought that their last album was among their best, and re-listening to them all again to prepare for this, I stand by that. I still think it's one of their best. I don't care what anyone says.
It's the children who are wrong.
We're also getting a solo album from Reba Myers of Code Orange.
Just wanted to make you bright.
She just dropped the single Absolute Uncertainty, and I absolutely love it. It's not metal at all, but this is what I said I wanted from her since her collab with Greg Puciato on his album, and the song Mirror on the last Code Orange album ended up being my favorite track, despite being not heavy at all. She has such a unique voice that she's bringing to the table. It's just so different from any other female singer-songwriter out there right now. And then maybe, possibly, my most hyped album of the entire year that I've been wanting forever, and has still not been formally announced, but I've heard that it is supposed to come out, and I believe will be their final album, is Triptychon. Tom G. Warrior made such a good move making this sound change when he did that last Celtic Frost album and carrying it forward into this project. Everything they've done has just been so punishing. Like, I just think they're one of the, like, heaviest, evilest sounding bands around. And so, yeah, to get a new one and for it to be a really solid swan song, that would be amazing. So, yeah, that kind of covers it for now. I don't doubt there's all stuff that gets announced after I record. Maybe I'll add some things, maybe I won't. I'm lazy. Y'all check out this playlist for all of my like favorite metal albums of 2024 lists and whatnot, or check out this for your personal YouTube recommendation. But that'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.